How's it going, car people? It's Lucas here, back with another video, and today I have a special video for you. Ever since I visited the BMW Museum in October 2020, I knew that my automotive museum venturing had to continue. In that video, I mentioned that my next stop would be the Mercedes-Benz Museum, and well, after much delay due to the museum's closing down to COVID once again, I finally made it there. The journey started out with a 200-kilometer long train ride from my home city of Frankfurt, Germany to Stuttgart, home of Mercedes-Benz. It was also my first time going someplace somewhat far away from Frankfurt in about 9 months, so it was definitely an experience. After arriving in Stuttgart, I headed straight to the Mercedes-Benz Museum, but before we check it out, let me show you something else. The Mercedes-Benz Center, which is right next to the museum, kind of like how the BMW world is across the street from the BMW Museum. In between the center and the museum, there's a souvenir shop that sells many items from Mercedes-Benz shirts, including some from the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team, mugs, caps, car models, you name it. Oh, hello SLS-AMG. I didn't purchase anything there, but I came to realize that I have yet to get a Mercedes-Benz shirt. Hopefully one day. Also in that area is this Mercedes-Benz EQ Silver Aero and this Mercedes-Benz Vision Urbanetic, the future of city transport. Words cannot describe how crazy this thing looks. Notice also that there's no steering wheel. Yeah, this vehicle is autonomous. Wild. Mercedes-Benz user experience is also provided here with the driver's cockpit of a modern Mercedes, but this one was apparently out of order at the time. We also have some Mercedes-Benz electric scooters, an EQC architecture model with transparent areas on the doors and hood that show the components of an electric motor. Here's the motor itself, by the way. One last thing before we check out the Mercedes-Benz Center. You also have the opportunity to experience EQ racing via these boards you can stand on and race by tilting it from side to side. Check this out. Pretty cool, right? Alright, it's time for the Mercedes-Benz Center, which is essentially a dealership since they have cars for sale. On the bottom floor we have an EQC, but otherwise just regular Mercedes models. We have a few CLAs, a C-Class Coupe, a B-Class, a few more C-Classes, CLA shooting brakes, a GLB, an E-Class, a CLS, and a C300DE station wagon, a hybrid diesel station wagon. These are always interesting. The center also allows you to rent a Mercedes-Benz model of your choice. Here's the parking garage where they're all located. One floor up is the EQ section. We have an EQA, another EQC, an EQV. By the way, look at where the EQV's charging port is. And we have some electric smarts. Right there is also a room in which there are cars already purchased and waiting for pickup. Let's go up another floor and we move from electric cars to beastly sounding high-performance AMG models. Okay, some of them have 4-cylinder engines and don't sound as good. I'm looking at you A35, CLA45, and GLB35 AMG, but there's still some really nice models. What stands out to me the most is this AMG GT63S. Very nice spec on this one as well, and nice color. At the very back, there's a lot of luxury. We have two W223 S-Classes, an S400D and an S500 long wheelbase. The S500 is highly spec'd, with rear entertainment and pillows on the rear headrests, although it's hard to see because of the glare, but the S400D has them too. Last but not least, we have a fully loaded Mercedes-Maybach Gls 600. It has all of the goodies, from rear entertainment, a tablet within the back seat, and many other amenities that you wouldn't find on a regular GLS. Hey, the exterior color, Cardinal Red Metallic, matches my shirt. You also get a view of the museum itself, and the Mercedes-Benz Arena in the distance. Speaking of the museum, I think we should go check it out. This is what you see beyond the museum's ticket desk. Very nice. Before we officially head in, let's check out some Formula 1 cars, which are, in fact, all of the models that Lewis Hamilton has won a championship title with since switching to Mercedes-Benz. So cool to see them all next to each other. Here's a 312D Westfalia camper van, also near the entrance. Alright, onwards, into the museum. Upon entering the museum, you get into this elevator, which takes you to the top of the museum, and from there, the museum layout is pretty linear. The farther down you go, the more modern the cars become, which explains why we have the first cars ever to exist at the very top. an 1886 Benz patent motor wagon, and an 1886 Daimler Motorkutsche, which means motorized carriage. Check out the power specs, by the way. The Benz patent had 0.75 horsepower, while the motorized carriage had 1.1 horsepower out of its Daimler one-cylinder engine, known as the grandfather clock, also separately on display. And if you've ever wondered what this engine sounds like, here you go. Here's a lineup of some more Daimler models, with the standouts being this motorboat and this locomotive. Throughout the museum, you'll find some history of the car brand, the factory, and even the German industry in the 1800s for all of you history fans, but this channel is about cars and not history, so we're checking out the cars. Time for some early 1900s models. We have a Mercedes Simplex from 1902 with 40 horsepower, a slightly more powerful Simplex from 1904, also a travel limousine, a 20/35 horsepower Landaulet, and an 18 horsepower as well as a 75 horsepower Doppelphaeton. By the way, pretty much every Daimler/Mercedes/Benz model from this era had their power output in the name. Also check out the engine size on the 75 horsepower Doppelphaeton. 10.2 liters. That is huge! And that's not even the biggest engine to be found in this museum. Just wait and see what it is. There are also some screens in the museum that show you the birth of the brand Mercedes. So cool. And check out the huge Mercedes sign on the wall. I'm already mind blown by this place and I can't wait to see what else it has to offer. Now we're getting a little more modern, with some Mercedes Pullman limousines from the 1920s and 1930s, as well as a bunch of buses, some of which were part of Stuttgart's public bus lines back in the day. Then there's the first double-decker bus from 1907. So cool to see what they used to look like. Near it is a very modern Mercedes bus, a Mercedes-Benz Trevego from 2009. Randomly placed here alongside the buses are this Mercedes-Benz Viano Marco Polo with curtains in the back, a 1972 Mercedes-Benz 300 SEL 6.3, which was very advanced for its time, and a 1985 300 TD station wagon, with one of those infamous old-school Mercedes diesel engines that last forever. By the way, did you know that Mercedes made plane engines as well? Yeah, me neither, until I visited the museum. Here's a Mercedes-Benz DB601 Aero engine from 1937. It was a V12, displacing 33,929 cc's. It had 1,100 horsepower, and inside of a Me 209 plane, it could reach speeds of 755 kilometers an hour, which was a world record that lasted for 30 years unbroken. This was also the first engine in existence with fuel injection. I didn't know it was already a thing in the 1930s. That's crazy. The largest engine in the museum is still to be seen though. Yeah, it's even larger than this plane engine, and that's saying something. Here are some more 1930s Mercedes models. Going through them all would take too long, so just enjoy the walkarounds. And here we have some old school Mercedes semi-trucks and panel vans, with one of the semis carrying a bunch of old school S-Class sedans and coupes. Alongside that is this 1955 high-speed race car transporter, which could go 105 miles an hour. That was a pretty big number back in 1955. It even says it on the side of the car. Also, here's a 1994 508D panel van. You still see some of them around occasionally. Then there's this 1938 O10000 mobile post office. Just look at this thing. That is enormous. Here we have an old school gas station, as well as the evolution of Mercedes-Benz steering wheels, gauge clusters, and radios up on display. Now we're getting into the models from the 50s, with the big standout and the most valuable of the bunch being the infamous 300 SL Gullwing, the first car with gullwing doors. Good luck finding one on the road today because there aren't many left and they're worth close to like 2 million euros now. In front of the Gullwing is a 300 SL Roadster and a 300 SLR. Alright, onwards. Here we have some Mercedes-Benz emergency vehicles. There's a fire truck, a Sprinter ambulance, a C-Class station wagon police car, a couple tow trucks, and a handful of other models. Moving on down, we have a Mercedes 600 Pullman limousine, and some old-school Maybach models. Then there's a 2015 CLA Street Style, custom designed by Crow, a German musician. Here's a 1992 190E 2.3 with the AMG driver's package, owned by actor Nicolas Cage, and a 1959 190 SL, owned by NASA astronaut David Randolph Scott. He was the only owner of this particular one, by the way, so that's something. Behind the 190 SL is another bus. Here we have an SLK 55 AMG and a camouflage 1997 Mercedes-Benz ML320, the one that became famous in the movie Lost World, as made clear by the license plate. Over here is the 1980 Mercedes-Benz 230G Pokemobile. I've always found these Pokemobiles so cool. Next to it, we have Princess Diana's 500 SL, which she purchased brand new back in 1991, also making her the first member of the British royal family to privately own a foreign car. But government, trade union, and industry criticism caused the Princess of Wales to return the car only 9 months later, and this is where it sits to this day. It does seem like a really nice car, very comfortable and powerful. Here's the evolution of Mercedes-Benz Badges. And here's some older Mercedes models from different decades, some of which we've already seen in other parts of the museum. And here's another bus. Now we're getting to the era of a new beginning for Mercedes-Benz. We have a few concept cars here, like this 1981 Auto 2000. The styling on this thing is so weird and I love it. Here's a 2015 concept IAA, which stands for Intelligent Aerodynamic Automobile. Next to it is an electric drive SLS AMG. I love SLSs, they just look so cool. Here we have a fuel cell powered B-Class and a 1994 Neckar 1, which stands for New Electric Car, the first fuel cell powered car in existence. Here's the lineup containing a yellow SLK 230 compressor, a 230E station wagon, a CLK convertible, and a 1935 Mercedes 130. We have a hearse right here. And a lineup of daily heroes from different time periods. Check them out. Here's a lineup of some Mercedes-Benz race, rally, and Formula 1 cars. To me, the standouts are the SLS right there, call me biased, and that CLK GTR. Nice. As you exit the museum, you are greeted with some more models to gaze upon, starting with some world record breakers. First is this 1939 T80 world record car, which became the world's fastest car that could reach speeds of up to 600 kilometers an hour. Also, look at the engine size. 44,522 cc. That is also the largest engine to be seen in this museum. It makes 3,000 horsepower. That's twice as much as in a Bugatti Chiron, so think about that. Then there's a 1938 W125 record car, in which Rudolf Caracciola broke the world record for the highest speed ever reached on a public road at 432.7 kilometers an hour. That record lasted almost 80 years. Next we have a 1978 C-111 3 diesel record car, which broke 9 speed world records, the most to have been broken by a diesel car. Next is a 1983 Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.316, which proved the reliability of the engine, covering 50,000 kilometers in 9 days at an average speed of approximately 250 kilometers an hour, with the only stops being fuel stops and to switch drivers. Now for a more modern reliability record breaker, this 2005 Mercedes-Benz E320 Cdi, of which 3 production models covered 100,000 trouble-free miles in 30 days at high speeds. Next is a 1980 Mercedes Economobile. It has a 200cc one-cylinder diesel engine with 1 horsepower. It won a fuel economy competition, using only 1 liter of diesel over 1,028 kilometers, equivalent to 2,418 miles per gallon, at an average speed of only 21 kilometers an hour. That's crazy. Last but not least is a 1985 Mercedes-Benz/Alfa Real Solarmobile, which has 2 electric motors producing 2.5 horsepower and run by 432 solar cells. It won the Tour de Sol Centennial Rally in 1985, and those are the record breakers. To finish off the video, let's look at some more concept cars. Alongside the concept cars is an icon, this 1970 Mercedes-Benz C-111. One cool thing about this area is that there are screens next to all of the cars that show you a little video of the respective model, in case you want to see more of it. Okay, now for the concept models. The one I just showed part of a video about is a 2001 F400 carving. Very nice. Here we have a 91 F100. This thing looks so bizarre, but so cool. I don't know, there's something appealing about the design of it that grabs my attention, and it's not the fact that it's purple. Also, the steering wheel is mid-mounted. Sorry, McLaren F1, but you weren't the first car to have a mid-mounted steering wheel, but you were the first production car to have one because the F100 never made it to production. Moving on, here is a 96 F200 Imagination. Fully glass roof and no steering wheel because it was meant to be driven via a joystick. Like, how crazy is that? Last but certainly not least, we have a 2007 F700, which defines the future of high ride quality and environmental friendliness, being a luxury car with a Auto engine. It combines low emissions from a gas car and fuel economy from a diesel into one. So there you go. That is a full tour of the Mercedes-Benz Center and the Mercedes-Benz Museum. If you are interested in cars and ever make it to Stuttgart, I'd highly recommend coming here because it is 1000% worth the price. And just like traveling back in time to when cars were first invented. This is one of the reasons why Mercedes-Benz is my favorite car brand because it traces back to Carl Benz's time. And he is one of the main reasons as to why this museum is able to exist in the first place and why I am able to make the videos that I do. I hope you enjoyed touring the Mercedes-Benz Center and the Mercedes-Benz Museum with me and seeing the large variety of automobiles. Stay tuned for more videos to come, and I will see you next time.